Welcome back to the breakup cheat sheet. I'm so glad you're here. 6 months ago, I was rocking in the fetal position in my bed. 6 months ago, I was feeling like a small little abandoned child because of the way that I was discarded. So don't tell me that I don't understand, because although I may not have all of the same characteristics of your relationship or breakup, I certainly do understand heartbreak, and I certainly do understand what it means to extricate yourself from somebody that you thought you were going to be with for a long time and that you had melded your life around. So in the last session, I talked about making an ick list, which if you've not watched part 4, go back and watch part 4. It's a preliminary task to this next step, number 5. After we make an ick list, which may seem petty, but it's to de-pedestalize them from your life and from your psyche so that you can now do step number 5. Get truthful with yourself. We have all heard the quote, "The truth will set you free." But I love this last part of this quote. The truth will set you free, but first, it will shatter your illusions. Well, what are illusions? I can only share my experience, and maybe you can relate. I suffer from limerence. So when I was growing up in my formative years, my caregivers were struggling with a lot of different things and couldn't give me the emotional love and safety that I deserved, that I needed. And so what I would do is I would ruminate about them, and I would think about what I could do differently to make them love me, what I could do to be easier. I would think about it all the time. I would think about things I could do to be a better little girl, to be more liked, to be more popular. And I've suffered from this my whole life because of my childhood, because I had to do that to survive. I couldn't denounce my parents at age 3 and tell them they weren't meeting my needs and go find new parents. I had to rely on them. And so I had to internalize the ways that I could change the situation, be easier, be smaller. And in some ways that may have helped. But as I grow up and as I become a teenager and an adult, it's no longer helpful anymore, because now it's like I'm making myself small and I'm not asking for what I need in an effort to be loved. And that's not a mature way to approach a relationship. We need to recognize when we are suffering from limerence, or when we are being delusional, when we are living in a state of illusion. So this is when I need you to pull out your journal. Number 1, are you broken up? Yes or no? There's no in between. And if there is, that's an answer for you. If you don't know if you're broken up or not, then your relationship is definitely not on a steady footing. There is definitely not a steady, safe environment for your heart right now. Number 2, do they choose you? And now I love this question. Do you actually want to choose them? Because in my case, I wanted to be chosen. I didn't necessarily want to choose them though. So that tells me that, again, we need to look back at what these things tell us about ourselves, and knowing that it's less about them and more about us. I talk about this in step 2, which is go no contact as well as you can. And as you do that, you'll start to hear your own thoughts. You'll start to understand yourself a little better, and you can get truthful with yourself and see that many of these attachments you have to them are actually related to you and your own trauma and insecurities. And this is how we alchemize this pain. This is the process of alchemization. It is turning the pain into growth, healing, and rewards, because we are becoming better. We are becoming more healed. Did you fully choose them? I know I can say that I didn't. I didn't want to fully choose them. And so my behavior represented that. So let's get truthful with ourselves, okay? Because it's really easy for you to tell yourself, they discarded me, they dumped me, like nobody loves me, they don't love me. But did you really choose them fully? And if not, why? I have a lot more questions to get truthful with yourself at the end of this episode. And so if you are so interested, please stay and join us for that portion. I also have a part 2 where we talk about inner healing. We ask ourselves questions that really reflect on those inner wounds that we need to pay attention to and that we finally need to heal. we're getting truthful with ourselves. We're getting truthful with ourselves about the relationship and our ex-partner, but we're also getting truthful with ourselves when it comes to our healing and what we need to do. This book, Anxiously Attached by Jessica Baum, highly recommend it, even if you're not anxiously attached. It will help you to reconnect to your inner child. And this is a huge part of the alchemization that is going to happen in this intentional breakup. But this is what she says in the book. The majority of our relationships, including our close friendships, are meant to teach us valuable lessons about ourselves so that we can continue to grow and evolve as individuals. Seeing it this way, any need to be certain about how things will play out becomes less concerning. It's more important to be in the moment with each other and to truly honor the gifts each person brings. What if we looked at every relationship like that? What if we looked at every relationship as a catalyst to teach us valuable lessons about ourselves so that we can continue to grow and evolve as individuals? Maybe that is what the importance is of being in relationship. And so you can look at this breakup not so much as like this devastating event that was so unfair. I mean, it's okay if you want to feel that way on Tuesday. Feel that way on Tuesday. Again, see tip number 1, be radically gentle with yourself over this process. Let yourself feel every emotion with no shame. But as we get truthful with ourselves, we start to realize that really this relationship and this breakup is more about us and our own wounds and how we can tend to ourselves. This is the beginning of your greatest self-work. It seems hard to see right now, and it's not something you have to do right now. Maybe you're just in survival right now, but be open to the journey. And one of the ways that we can be open is by getting truthful with ourselves. Some of the things that we're going to ask ourselves in the second part. When I think of my ex, I feel the part of my body this feeling lives in is, and if this part of my body could speak, it would say. My answer to these questions was, when I think of my ex, I feel nervous. My chest feels tight. The part of my body this feeling lives in is my heart and my chest and my throat. Being able to talk and express my needs. I couldn't do it. And I just felt so entrapped. I felt so small. If that part of my body could speak, it would say, I am stuck. I am small. I can't be honest. I can't be authentic. I am scared. When you start to answer these prompts for yourself, you will start to realize so much more about your relationship and what it was actually about. And this is how we get truthful with ourselves about the relationship, about where we're at emotionally and where we're at as far as where we need to heal. So the part of you that feels the loss the most, what is their advice to you about how you could grow from this? Think about that question, because you already have all the answers within you. We all have all of the answers and the tools necessary to heal and to come out of this on the other side and to feel better. But we've got to get truthful with ourselves. We've got to get back in touch with ourselves so that we can attach to and we can sync with those parts of us that know exactly what to do. I also have a series available, the Breakup Cheat Sheet, and it has each and every video in chronological order. I linked that down below. If you want to watch the entire series with a lot of extra content and a lot of extra exercises to really maximize this course, check me out over on YouTube. I have the entire course available for free.